Okay. Hey everybody, so this is a fun way for you to strengthen your own intuition, okay? So this reading is going to be a little bit different from the ones you may be used to seeing in other YouTube videos and the like, because while I am going to be drawing the cards and putting like my energy into that, this time I want you guys to really tune in and get whatever messages or answers that you are trying to get from the card yourself. Because, you know, I can't tap into you specifically to know exactly what resonates with you. And if you want to go and strengthen your intuition, this is a really fun way to do it. At least it has been for me. So I wanted to start out actually with a card from the Goddess Oracle pack, and that is one of Radical Acceptance. So this is actually Freya, one of the Celtic goddesses, and I thought that the Radical Acceptance theme was really befitting because, you know, we've been taught to question so much of our own intuition and our judgment, and then a lot of places in society don't even really acknowledge your gut feelings and your intuitions as like something that's as valid as something that's more like maybe analytical or like report type thing. And so really learning to lean into whatever you get, because this is going to be kind of like a muscle. You're really learning to reconnect with a part of yourself. And I want you to just not focus on, oh, you know, I didn't get the answer I wanted, or, oh, I'm not really sure, I don't have a whole lot. You know, everyone receives messages and insight like in a totally different way. So in this reading, I'm going to be using Sacred Geometry from the Native Heart Healing Oracle. So I want you to think of a problem, a block, some sort of thing that's like a really major like topic in your life right now. I tend to use pain and fatigue as a common example because that was a big problem for me in my life. All types of pain, all types of fatigue. And on top of that, it ended up, I'm sure I'm not alone on that, let's just say that. And I found that, you know, a lot of cultures find that there's energy in various different shapes and in colors, and even quantum physics is starting to be able to show and prove that, you know, there's energy and vibes in things even if they're not like alive and like walking in the way that we're used to. So this first card that I'm going to pull, it is going to be representing a situation that you're in right now. Again, what you're going to take from this card is going to be totally different from the next person, and that is okay. If you pull, like if you look at the card and you're like, I don't really know, that's okay. So the first one we have here is, it says Eagle Medicine down here if the font is a little too small. And you really look into what resonates with you when you look into these cards. So, for example, is it the colors that stand out to you? Is it a specific color that's like, are you connecting that with some sort of emotion? You know, are you connecting it with a memory or some sort of situation? You know, and we're not trying to do any sort of judgment here with this. You know, so if you look at some of these colors and you connect it with feelings of anger, that, you know, again, radical acceptance, you're connecting it with anger. We ain't going into I should or should not. We ain't doing no shoulds. We can't do any of the I can'ts. How you feel is totally valid. In case no one told you that, I'm going to be the first to tell you that. And, you know, a lot of us, I personally believe, store emotions in our body. So if you try and just completely stuff whatever emotion you have down, whether it's acceptable, or you've been trained to like, you know, it's not a good look to go and feel angry, or you have no reason to feel sad, and, you know, things like that, or you have no reason to complain. Because as soon as you go and push that stuff down, you're storing it. And you'd be surprised how many people, myself included, have stored years, decades worth of pain in our bodies, and then it starts to pop up as, oh, now you got this chronic condition. Now you got this chronic condition. Now you got these energy issues. Now you're tired all the time. That stuff builds up, you know, and I want you to really take these, whatever messages you get, even if you just look at this and like, I don't know, I ain't getting nothing from it. There's still something, I believe, subconsciously going on with it. And so I really want you to just kind of, whatever comes to mind and resonates is whatever comes to mind and resonates. If you find comfort looking at certain colors, or, you know, find comfort in like the shapes around here, you know, that is also an awesome thing. I'm going to go over and read what Eagle Medicine is, according to the booklet, just in case that those words are what really kind of resonate with you. But I want to go into the next section in the next card real quick, and then I'll just go over all 3 words at once, as far as that goes. So the first card right here is what it relates to your current situation, whatever is popping up and resonating for you. Because whatever is popping up and resonating for you, like that is your intuition trying to tell you something. And you don't have to fully understand what they're telling you every single time. The purpose is more to just connect with it. Because the more you connect with it, the more you'll be able to recognize it when it pops up. And then you'll know how your intuition operates. Because we ain't all got the same style of intuition. You know what I'm saying? And that is perfectly okay. So the second card that I'm going to pull now is what you need to move forward. So again, whatever resonates with you. There's no judgment here. And this one, actually we got Divine Masculine here is the word. Again, I'm seeing more of the red, kind of bolder energies here. And I do want to note here, in the event Divine Masculine is what is resonating with you, this is not referring to like society's typical like male versus female, or, you know, that sort of thing. Every single person, like your very essence, like your spirit, you know, like your soul, whatever you want to call it, your vibes, every single person, regardless of the body that they were born with, regardless of who they identify with in society as far as pronouns go, we all have masculine and feminine energies. So masculine energies is more related to kind of like giving energy, you know, so giving energy, you know, kind of like stability, you know, action, like things like that are the words that come to mind with that, which we all embody that in some way. Now, whether it's a healthy way of doing it or not, that's totally different. But we all have that energy. And then on the opposite end, the feminine is more as like, you know, the how it's done, the finesse, the quality of it, you know, receiving energy, you know, and we all do that. Like I said, healthy or not is a totally different thing, and that's for a totally different video. But I did want to go and make a note that, you know, when we say Divine Masculine here, if that's what's resonating, that doesn't mean it's talking specifically about a male, or it doesn't apply to you because you identify as more feminine in your essence, because we all have it. It kind of like in different percentages. Just like every single human, you know, has estrogen and testosterone, but the balances is what, you know, make a difference as far as like our biology at birth, you know. So again, take whatever you need this to mean. It could mean a situation outside of yourself. Many times there's something internally going on too, even if the internal thing is how you're responding to whatever it is that's out there. So again, no judgment, just take, what resonates. And now I'm going to combine both card decks here, or both piles. The third is going to be the outcome. So there's no specific time frame for this one as far as like when this outcome is going to happen. It really, you'll get a better idea yourself as you start to work with your intuition more, and as you start to really learn more about yourself and the things that like, ooh, that really left a mark, but at the same time, like, what are we doing about that mark that was left? You know what I'm saying? As long as you start doing something, even if the only thing you got the energy to do is be aware, like, yeah, I peeped that anger. Oh, I peeped that pain. I know it's there. You can do something about it once you know it's there. And a lot of times we're so bogged down, especially if you are a chronic pain or chronic fatigue person. You've been through trauma like I have. You are not alone, even though it feels like it. But the more you learn about yourself, the more you're going to be able to figure out solutions to the problems in your life. So let's see. The third one's going to be the outcome. So like I said, just if you still are kind of like not sure, that's all right. Wow, we have a lot of bold colors here today. Lots of red and orange. So this one, if you can't read this very well, Earth Star Chakra. In terms of the realm of chakras, red is actually a grounding energy. So when you are feeling anxious, fearful, stressed out, if you're feeling any of those emotions, you're not grounded, okay? In some sort of way. You could be grounded physically and not mentally, or vice versa, but something is not feeling so steady, because when you're grounded, there's no space for stress, there's no space for panic attacks, there's no space for anything like that. And anything can go and trigger that feeling of just not feeling like stable or grounded. That does not mean that there's anything wrong with you. But I did want to know, like, when it comes to the earth, this is usually like the earth chakra, which is usually by your tailbone, if you're not very familiar with that. And it is the one that I had to do a lot of work on personally when it came to trauma, because I would go and hide in my head. So those of y'all who can relate to not feeling grounded in your body, for whatever the reason is, trauma, chronic pain, whatever it is, when you don't feel comfortable in your body, that usually indicates some sort of imbalance with the earth chakra. And there are plenty of techniques and things that you can do, but I'm going to leave that on a separate video. I believe there are actually plenty out there already. So that is what I have here for you guys. Like I said, take whatever resonates. For those of you who resonate more with words, I'm going to go and read what the guidebook has here. Most of these decks come with a guidebook as far as like things that, like as far as like a little more information. If you pull a card and you're like, I have no idea what this is, like what are we doing here? What I like to do is I like to look at the card myself first. If you end up getting interested in getting yourself a deck of cards, like you can feel energy in them as you start to get more in tune, and you'll start to get different vibes, not just visually, but for some people, they might smell certain smells. They might think of a memory, a sound might come to mind, touching the actual card. There's so many different ways that you can pick up like healing vibes from healing oracle cards, which is why I wanted to do this. But for those of you who resonate more with words, because sometimes for me, I'm more of a word kind of person, I'm going to start out with the Eagle Medicine. So remember, Eagle Medicine, this first card, this was like resonating with, your current situation. see. So, a breakthrough. The sky's the limit, promotion, or advancement. Those are the words that come to mind here. So, basically, long story short, with this card, it really is about breakthrough. So, you might be going through a real tough time right now. And it feels like you just can't take it no more. Like you are at your wit's end. Like you are just like, you feel like you have no steam left. A lot of times that is actually what happens before a breakthrough. I know, not pleasant, but a lot of times from my experience and from hearing other people's stories on how they managed to like turn their lives around, they were in like full blown crisis mode, and then they learned something that was like, oh my gosh. And so I'm not sure what kind of breakthrough, but I know you know what kind of breakthrough you might be close to being towards. And even if you don't know, it doesn't stop it from happening. Sometimes we have to be on the other side of the fear and the crisis to be able to be like, ooh. And then that's when the hindsight comes in, you know. So I already talked a bit already about the Divine Masculine card and the energies and stuff that are here. But balancing of the opposites, you know, swaying back and forth into balance, you know, equilibrium, you know, a platonic relationship. And, you know, for me, when I think of relationships, the first one that comes to mind for me is my relationship with myself. Because for me, and I've noticed this with a lot of people, your relationships in, you know, outside of yourself, pretty reflective of your relationship with yourself. Just about every time. So, you know, whatever you take that resonates with that. And then the third one, which is the outcome. Because remember, situation, the key to solving the problem, outcome. So the words that come to mind with Earth Star Chakra, and again, you know, take what you need. But the words that come to mind with this one is past life connection. So if you are connected with and, you know, are in tune with past lives that you may have had, that could be a potential thing to look at. That might be a connection that your intuition's doing. Future visions, if you're the kind of person who does have visions, because I think it's time to normalize that stuff. I used to see visions and I didn't know what they meant, and I thought I was just daydreaming. And it was more than just daydreaming. So if that happens to be you, that might be something that resonates with you. And then also respect for yourself, others, and the earth. So a lot of times, you know, we give so much outside of ourselves, but then we don't give anything back to ourselves. That's not respectful. And I myself am still dealing with traces of that. But it's amazing how many of us are taught to be abusive to ourselves. And you don't have to do that anymore. So that is what I have for today's reading. I hope you guys found this fun. I'm hoping you guys got some really good insights with this. And with that said, I want you guys to really take care. And I will see you guys in the next video. All right. Bye.